Two of the most exciting brands in craft beer right now have come together to make something that sounds suspiciously like a Radler. But is this the craft summer sipper we've been waiting for, or is this just another ruined lager? Hello and welcome back to the channel, and yes, this is a collab between Three Hills and Ampersand. And as soon as you hear the word Ampersand, if you watch a lot of beer stuff on YouTube, you probably think of the Craft Beer Hub and Mark. And well, yes, actually, I have to thank him for the purchase of this can. It's kind of his local and favourite brewer, and he bought me one of their latest collabs. It's called Zestland, and I think it's a 4% on the nose. Yep, 4%, bang on. It's a Motueka, however you pronounce that hop. I'm going with Motueka, and lime light lager. To be honest, it's a very subtle can design, and I even had to double check that, because while I was absolutely convinced that, I don't know if you can see the logo on there, that one, is the Three Hills Brewing logo, it doesn't say it on the can, which is a bit strange, but also because it doesn't say a lot on the can, I've not read any flavour notes either, which is always a good thing. But yeah, so we've got, you know, New Zealand hops and lime in a lager. Well, lime in a lager, or lemon, or any kind of citrus fruit, you're instantly thinking of a Radler, which, well, traditionally beer aficionados like ourselves have never really got on with all that well. They just tend to be a bit pappy, I think is the word I'd use. But you know what? I've said it in most of my recent videos, if not all of my recent videos. It's still red hot here in the UK, so, well, for us anyway, we don't deal with the heat well. So a very refreshing lager seems like a fantastic idea, even with a bit of lime. It might set it off just nicely. But then we've got the New Zealand hop, the Motueka. I'm going to change my name. Maybe I'll change my name to Motueka. No, I'm going to change the way I pronounce it because I keep forgetting what. I can't remember. Anyway, but yes, the New Zealand hop Motueka, that should give us kind of maybe some stone fruit, definitely a lot of citrus and general kind of fruity flavours. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Heavily hopped lager is one of my pet peeves in life. I just don't like it. I don't understand it. I don't think it's very good. Please stop making it. However, if this is balanced well with the addition of the lime, it could just go all right. But there's only one way to find out, isn't there? So before we break into it, here again is a quick look at that can. I mean, it's going to stand out, isn't it, in a battle fridge or on a shop shelf. That is very nice indeed. I say it's quite plain, but I do like that little motif on the front. It's a half a lime that's also a spaceship beaming someone up. So I'm expecting it to be very citrus forward. The name Zestland, it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be there, isn't it? But let's give it a go, shall we? Lager glass at the ready. A little lively. Hyper pale. Definitely giving Radler vibes from that. Right then, in the glass, I mean, that might be the palest beer I've ever reviewed. It's got barely any colour to it at all. The colour that it does have, funny enough, is actually a little bit green. Whether it's reflecting off the can and the lights behind me, I don't know. But when I hold it up to the light, there is a slight green hue in otherwise what is just a very, very pale yellow beer. That head's not really kicking around very well. It's kind of dissipating very quickly. There is a lot of carbonation in it though. For a summer drink, it doesn't look unappealing, I have to say. It does look a bit splashy though. 4% lager, not expecting the thickest thing in the world, are we? But yeah, it looks all right. Right then, aroma time. The hop is dominant. Now I'm going to say it's citrusy, and you go, well, how can you tell the difference between the hop and the lime at that point? Hop citrusiness has this kind of added bite to it that you don't quite get in, I guess, the real citrus thing. Real citrus has a bit of extra sweetness, a bit of juiciness about it, whereas kind of, yeah, citrus through hop just almost brings with it a bit of earthiness and a bit of spice perhaps. But it doesn't smell bad, but it does just smell like a bit of an overly hop lager, if I'm honest. I'm not getting a lot of malt base out of it, and whilst the fruit and hop profile seems decent, I'm not going to say it's fantastic, it seems decent on the nose, I'm tentative about this one. I really don't know how it's going to go, but there's one way to find out. So, cheers. Yes, 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 yes. They saved it right at the end. Okay. They have been, what shall I say, meticulous. I think meticulous. Anyway, they've been very considered about what they're trying to do with this, and up front it is super zesty, super spritzy, hence the Zestland name. Absolutely on the money. It evolves a bit and you start to get slightly over hopped nature, certainly for the beer style, I would say, just in the middle, and it's that point you're going, oh, not again, it's another IPL or cold IPA or whatever name they're calling overly hop lager this week. And just as it gets to the back of the tongue, the sweetness kicks in and you're left with nice biscuity malt and a lick of real lime. It's not the hop anymore, it's proper authentic lime juice, lime peel, and it doesn't feel like a beer that's been cut with a juice like a Radler. It doesn't, it's not like I guess a strong shandy or anything like that. It is distinctly a proper lager that's been flavoured with some zesty notes. And whilst I'll be honest, that's never going to be my go-to. I would always take just a proper straight up Pilsner, Helles, whatever you like, the real deal. I have to say, if you want to try and convert a few light beer drinking friends with some craft this summer at a barbecue, Zestland might just be the way to do it, because it gives you the full experience. You get that intense hop character that you would expect out of a proper craft IPA, but then it kind of vanishes immediately, becomes sweet and almost just, very, very accessible from a kind of a taste standpoint. So yeah, it is a double thumbs up, this one, it is. Let's do a quick top to bottom taste test so you can try and understand exactly what I'm waffling on about, and then we'll take a look at the very limited information on that can to see, well, if our interpretation of it matches their expectation. But first up, taste time. So initially, I didn't spot it at first, but actually right on the tip of the tongue, good carbonation and actually quite a sweet lime juice, kind of almost think like fruit cordial lime on the front of the tongue there. Really quite pleasing, I have to say. And then first third of the tongue, it spritzes up again, carbonation stays, but it becomes slightly more aggro. It's not hyper harsh, but it is quite bitter, almost a little bit sour, and just, it's prickly, proper, the hops are going to work on your tongue there. And as it then kind of teeters into the middle, stone fruit, straight in there. Still with the citrus, but it starts to give this impression of something very big, very brash, very New Zealand IPA, to be honest. It's not as thick as that, and it's not as intense as that, but given how just low key the rest of the beer is, it is quite a step up, just, in terms of flavour intensity. I think if you'd had one of these after a proper IPA, you'd say it was the sweetest thing on earth, but having had nothing before this, there is some definite big punching flavour in there. But then, as it gets to the back of the tongue, the bitterness drops, it becomes drying, really kind of just asks you to go back for a bit more. A bit of sweetness kicks back in, and you think, is that it? Was it just a bit of a kind of a little fruity roller coaster and that's all we're done? But no, because on the aftertaste, this really subtle kind of shortbready malt comes in. It's not big, it's not strong, it's just enough. It's just enough to balance this off. Personally, I would have probably called it a Pilsner rather than a lager. In my mind, a proper lager versus a proper Pilsner. The lager is pretty much always more malt forward, and the Pilsner a bit less so and a bit more hop forward, which this definitely is. But if that name had changed, I actually can't find an awful lot wrong with it. It's not exactly what I expected, but I mean, it's a Motueka and lime lager. No one really knows what to expect, but I have to say, yeah, two thumbs up on that one. Right then, let's take a quick look at this can. So on the front, it's the Ampersand logo and the Three Hills logo, without actually saying it. Zestland, Motueka and Lime Light Lager, 4%. And on the back, A fully certified summer stunner made with our pals Three Hills Brewing. Oh, it does say Three Hills on it. Apparently I can't read. A light lager base of lager, dextrin and rice. So there's a rice lager as well, explains the colour a bit. Work in harmony with our punchy, fresh New Zealand Motueka, whatever we're saying, hops, and a lick of lime zest, made with good friends, designed to be drunk with the same. The only other info on there is their website, their socials, their address, ingredients, water, malted barley, hops, rice, lime and yeast. Is dextrin, I'm just looking back to that original description, it says a base of lager, dextrin and rice. Dextrin, is that the same as maltodextrin? In which case I'm confused, is that just a normal malt? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'd have preferred just regular malts, and personally I'd have preferred regular malts, not even the rice, but you know, it's designed to be a hyper light beer, I guess, and that is exactly what they've done. And yeah, it might not be exactly how I would have gone about it, but at the same time, I'm not a very good brewer, so I can't really say anything. But as I said before, if you want something to appease your kind of craft curious friends at a barbecue, I don't know how, but some just jumped out the glass, but it is very, very nice indeed. It's subtle, it's not going to blow your socks off, but hot weather, cold pint, it's doing the business. And that really is all I've got to say about it. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you'll be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.